Hello everybody, in this video I want to talk about the corrupted seeds, and you mentioned this in the comment section below, so I wanted to test it out. Now basically what it does, it entangles enemies so they stay in place, they don't move for a brief time, for a few seconds. It's not about the damage because the damage is low, but if you already deal damage to enemies, especially it's a large area, it actually stops enemies in a relatively large circle, range. You can, if you have a weapon with committed, by the time you get them and hit them, it's already going to deal double damage. So this is one advantage. However, based on my gameplay, and I'm using Fighter's Binding, I actually want enemies to follow me, because when enemies follow you, they kind of tend to get close together until they come to you, right? So they go in this direction, and if they are in this area, eventually they're gonna come in a cone close to you, and then I can just use and hit them with my Fighter's Binding like this, which is great. If they come from the side, they're gonna get it anyway because of the swirling. However, if I entangle enemies, well, it's just stay in place. They are not stunned. It's not like using snowball. They are not stunned. They just stay in place, and you have crowd control because you actually stop enemies. So is it good? Not good? Well, it's nice that you have the option to actually stop enemies, especially if you need to run away if they are low, or if you are doing speedrunning, you can actually entangle enemies and continue running if you are doing this. I don't do this, but it actually can be useful in that aspect. But it also allows you to actually deal with the small groups of enemies rather than dealing with many enemies at the same time, because if they are just, if you just make them stop moving, like what I do here. So if I, for example, just one comes, I can actually come. I can stop them now. So I'm just only need to deal with those two first, right? I can just go and attack them. I'm still entangling the other ones, and I'm just dealing with two enemies at a time, which is nice. Especially if I combine this, for example, with the snowball, I can freeze them. Here, for example, I have electrified. I keep them away because they can easily eliminate me. But the thing is that when I use shockwave, I already have the option to keep enemies away from me. Alright, I'm not gonna entangle now. I'm just gonna use it. You can see they move a little bit, right? And this a little bit, by the way, can, especially with the electrified, can eventually hit me. Oh, this one actually has a gravity pull. So even with gravity pull, right, you don't want to stay close. So one way to do this, well, is actually use this ability, right? It's just to let's try it again. It's just made him stay away. I'm not going to shoot right now, and you can see that they are not moving. So I actually don't need the shockwave in order to keep them away from me. I'm not saying that the shockwave is not useful. I'm not just saying that I can keep them away from me. The shockwave, of course, has many benefits, and one of them, of course, is preventing projectiles from getting in, and also hitting enemies behind cover. So it's very useful nonetheless. I wouldn't give it up because I have corrupted seeds. Right? Nice. Again, this is also good if you see, for example, a creeper, and the one that explodes running after you. You can actually stop them. You can do this and just, or if you have cooldowns, you're waiting for a cooldown and you just want, sometimes, you're kind of running away, you are low. You can actually use this one, prepare. Some enemies run very fast after you, they're quick, they run really, really quick after you. So you can actually stop them, and, sometimes they even won't run after you are far away from them. So again, this is kind of a way to keep enemies away from you, or, keep an order so you're either waiting for your cooldown, or just separating enemies so you can attack several of them instead of many enemies at the same time. Now you can also use it with, for example, thundering, because if they are scattered, and usually they will be scattered if you are using it, for example, in a situation. I'm going to give an example. If you don't wait, because don't want them to get close to you, so if you entangle them, like this example, I have an AoE. You can use thundering to hit one enemy, and then you can actually hit several enemies at the same time. By the way, I don't have poison barrier here, but as you can see, they're running after me. I'm low, so I actually use this, wait for my cooldown. So this gives me some time until I have things ready. That's why you need a poison barrier, by the way. Bye-bye. So the thing is that I can actually stop them, so they won't kind of run after me, and it works really well. Sometimes you need it. But again, if you are playing with a build that I'm using with 2 mushroom and gong, you probably want to be much more aggressive in your in your playstyle than being kind of more passive and using the corrupted seeds. There's some areas we can actually just skip enemies. I'm not saying speed running the entire level, but just stopping enemies, just going through, and they won't actually follow you. Forgetting that I don't have poison barrier. So it seems like a bit more of the defensive. In terms of crowd control, I have better option than this because I'm using this armor. I'm going to show you this one with snowball. I have also potion barrier, but again, if you're using this one, make sure that you have potion barrier here. And I'm using gong. So where is my gong? Yeah, this is my gong. Anyway, the idea is that sometimes I need to be aggressive, I need to be aggressive. If this is just dealing with one enemy, you know, I have the snowball, so snowball will stun this enemy. And it's better for me than using entanglement of the corrupted seed, because the corrupted seed won't prevent this enemy from attacking me, right? So the snowball will prevent the enemies from attacking because it is stunned. Corrupted seed don't stun enemies, just stop them in place. So if I get close to them, they can still attack me. So if there's an exploder there and I use the corrupted seed, if I get close, it will explode. However, if there's a creeper that explodes here, it won't explode. That's why I really like the snowball. Of course, you can use the snowball and the corrupted seeds as well. Or if you have several cooldowns, you can just take out one of these mushroom and use corrupted seeds if you want to. And you know, but in general, I find it kind of less useful. You know, kind of a more of a kind of a defensive side, more than offensive, because you know, usually I kind of manage myself well with the shockwave, but sometimes when this is actually a good place to check it out. When I have chilling, I'm slower. So with chilling, the enemies can actually get close to me when I'm using the shockwave, because the attack speed is much lower. So in this particular situation, this can actually be quite useful, just to prevent enemies from getting close to you if your attack speed is slower. So if you're using a slow weapon, well, probably this one is actually be very good for you, because then you will be able to deal damage to enemies one at a time rather than trying to deal with enemies, you know, all of them at the same time. So basically, when I look at the corrupted seeds, again, it has its advantages, but overall, I don't really see a need for it. I don't see a need for it. One is actually big advantage is actually, if I look at it in open space, why I'm telling you this, because there are some situations in some levels where enemies can attack through all directions. And a good thing about this corrupted seeds is that shockwave only kind of prevent enemies from moving closer to some degree when the shockwave hit them. But the shockwave is not actually covering, this is a shockwave, or this direction. It doesn't cover the entire area. So if enemies attack me from all directions or for some directions, with the corrupted seeds I can continue eliminating enemies here, and if there are enemies and they're behind me, I can still make them stop moving using the corrupted seed. After I finish enemies with here, I can point to the other direction. And if there are more enemies coming here, they still will be, you know, entangled. They can't move. So this is actually good in an open space where there are many enemies and you actually can prevent all of them from getting close to you. But usually when it happens, you deal with small enemies, but sometimes you deal with corrupted, many enemies coming from different directions. This can happen in some levels. So at some levels, maybe I decide, oh, I'm going to use the corrupted seed because it actually fits the level, but it's not for every level. Most of the time I don't need it, but I can see that it can be useful sometimes, yes. That's why you need poison barrier. Can survive this. Yeah, so overall, first impressions are, you know, corrupted seed are nice, have the advantages. Maybe you're gonna use it sometimes, but overall I don't see personally a reason to kind of go and use them, you know, in most of the time, most levels. But there are levels that you can actually find them useful, where there are many enemies around you and you can just want to stay in place, there are no AoE and you just want to attack enemies, eliminate them. Or you're using weapon with committed, for example, you won't be able to jump in, deal straight away, double damage, this can happen. But with fast weapon it doesn't matter, because the fast weapons are so fast that, you know, it's a split of a second to do the first hit and the second hit, so it really doesn't matter. It matters maybe for slow weapons, yes, because if you're dealing with slow weapons that deal lots of damage and you have committed, you want the first hit to actually deal double damage, then it's actually good. again, I didn't test it thoroughly. Again, not in depth. Maybe you have better kind of builds that are suited for this one. Again, I mentioned it does have advantages for certain users, but overall, I personally don't find a real reason to actually use it on my build. But at some levels, I might. But it's not bad, but again, not something that I see myself actually using on standard runs or Apocalypse plus 20 or daily trials. So this is it for this video. Waiting for your comment in the comment section below. Again, I'm sure some of you came up with better uses for the corrupted seed. Just let me know in the comment section below. What is it? What build you are using it? And whether you are able to easily survive Apocalypse plus 20. Now, Apocalypse plus 20 command, it's not hard. Daily trials. You're able to do this comfortably with the corrupted seed. Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you on the next video. Cheers. Bye bye.